There it is. So he's like, you forgot about me. So it says, the prophet reminded them of the greatness of the Lord. The greatest human strength is insufficient to meet the challenges of life. The powerful creator God gives power. Verse 29, renew actually means to exchange. So when we talk about the update, it's like he's exchanging our the bad stuff for the good stuff. So it's like he's refueling us or renewing those things that are inside of us that we probably put aside. And the Lord will exchange their weakness for God's strength. Neither soaring with wings as eagle nor running is pictured as the climax. Rather, the sought after prize of walking is presented as the mainstay of Christian experience. Serving God in the mountaintop experience of life, when his people can soar with him, is not so difficult. The most difficult times of service can be in the monotonous everyday grind of life, when God's people feel they are spinning their wheels and going nowhere. The Lord's children can exchange their weakness for God's strength in the daily walk of life. So he's saying, when I'm waking you up in those hours, that's me telling you, I need to renew that part of you, that strength. When you get weak and you want to go into doubt, when you get weak, when you want to go into the dark place, when you get weak, you want to go into depression, when you get weak and you want to fall back and not climb the mountain. It's like, yeah, this race is not given to the swift nor to the strong, but you have to endure till the end. Okay? So renewing for renewed service, so we have to be renewed. So especially when we think about our TVs, our phones, when they give us those updates, especially iPhones. iPhones love to give you a new update. Updating. We're gonna update again. Okay. So fatigue can make a nag of anyone. So when we get tired, we get I was there. All right. So says nothing goes further to make a woman less faithful with unruly household or job crisis and 1,000 of mundane irritations. How many of you guys have been going through that, where it's this and this happens and that happens, and it's just like it's just everything is happening all at one time. So when I said it was a couple of weeks ago, the dryer went out. I got the dryer fixed. The washing machine goes out. Then the refrigerator's not doing what it's supposed to do. Then my car was messed up. And it's just like there's so many things, one thing after another, and it gets really like overwhelming, because it's like, God, how can I handle these things? How am I supposed to do these things? But it's in those 3 o'clock in the morning hours when he's renewing you to continue to go on through the day. So when you're thinking like, oh, I can't make it, it's like, no, I'm here to renew your strength. I'll help you mount up so that you can soar and not feel like you're lagging anymore.
Yeah.
So scripture offers ways to women to reduce fatigue and avoid weariness. Support from an understanding husband or close friend helps you handle pressure and stress more effectively. Knowing that someone not only knows about the burden, but comes alongside to help you bear up the burden and the load. And that's Isaiah 50:4 and Galatians. It makes every crisis more tolerable. Women are refreshed and invigorated by being able to walk away from burdens, even for a few hours. Such time for yourselves can provide renewal and energies and revival of spirit, and can produce creativity and recreate productivity. So I'll send you guys all these scriptures, but it's like in Ecclesiastes 5:18, it talks about how you can get away. I want to look at
What are you reading out of? What are you reading out of?
this book, this Bible is like a study Bible. So it's a study Bible. So women need to guard against overcommitment. How many of us have been doing things and it's like, oh, I can make it. Oh, I can do that. Oh, okay, I can come. Okay, I can do this. Okay, I'll come. Okay.
You don't know how to say no.
Learning how to say no. Even good and godly pursuits must be weighed against the purpose of God. Hebrews 12:1. You must learn to say no. Determine to slow your frantic pace and resist temptation to add more and more to your schedule. Busyness is not necessarily godliness. Perhaps your
Mm.
relaxation could become reprioritizing responsibilities. Matthew 6:33. And rethinking free time. Ecclesiastes 3:1. There's a time for everything. We can make time for everything. Okay. Being tired is a physical affliction. Being weary, on the other hand, is a spiritual attitude that results in a part of blaming God for your own sinfulness. Life will never free you from fatigue, but fatigue can bring you to the point of setting aside the mundane cares of the world in order to open your heart and soul to the Lord. Ecclesiastes 12:12. So I was talking to a client yesterday, and in her reading, I was like, oh my God, like you're in this bubble. And she's just like, yeah. She was like, and I put myself there purposely. So when you put yourself in this bubble, and this is what I told her, when you put yourself in this bubble, it's like you can see everything in your life. You know, you can see a fire happening and you're just like, oh, is that something I need to take care of? Does that concern me? No, I'm going to stay here. You could see your children, or you could see, you know, friends and family, but you're in your little bubble, you're in your space, and you just go along in life. I kind of think it is that like the eagle eye, you can see everything, but you're kind of like, do I need to be involved in that situation? Is that something that I need to go and take care of? Nah, I'm just going to keep soaring. So being in your own bubble is like that self-care. It's taking care of yourself while everything else is going on in the world. We don't have to involve ourselves in everything, in every piece of life. Life will never free you from fatigue. But fatigue can bring you to the point of setting aside the mundane cares of the world. It can bring you to a place of like, I'm done. You know, when we tap out, I'm tapping out, and I'm going to be sitting in my room and I'm just going to chill for the day. There's nothing wrong with that. But we as women feel guilty because it's like, well, I got my kids and they need. No. So it's like learning how to, and I wish sometimes like Tara was here because I could get meal preps from Tara. And I was like, you know, I could just order my food and it'd be done. And, you know, I wouldn't have to worry about coming home and trying to figure out who's cooking today and what's being cooked and are they cooking from a good place? And, you know, is it going to be something that's going to be wasted? But you know what I'm saying? So God can use the fatigue. So in those hours, it says to cause you to look to him for satisfaction. And that comes in Isaiah 28:12-13. He will cause you to get tired so that you won't be weary in doing, and you'll be able to come to him and say, God, I'm tired. And that's when we get to asking. And this is why I tell you guys all the time in your journals, write down, God, how can I? What do I need to do? How am I supposed to get this done? Because just like in Jeremiah 29:11, it says, I know what I'm doing. I know exactly what I'm doing. Okay. All you have to do is come to me so I can tell you what I'm doing. But when you don't talk to me, you don't know it. That's why you get tired. Okay. God can use fatigue to administer correction. Hebrews 12:5. As he pulls back his hand of strength to force your body to slow down and for refueling. And the last one is to prepare you for a greater challenge. Jeremiah 12:5. We think like, oh, this is it. No, there's something else. So the other day I was sitting in my room and I was like, God, I thank you. Well, I was at my job and everything was just happening. And I didn't get to enroll my daughter in her first semester of summer school. And I was just like, well, God, you know, if she needs it, you know, we'll work it out, but I can do second semester. But I was like, you know, God, I'm fatigued. And it's like, it's always something. It's always this. It's always that. It's always this. So I sat there and I said, God, I thank you for everything that you're doing, because this is letting me know that there's something greater coming. And then I was grateful in the moment. I thank you for everything that you're doing. I thank you for all of the trials and the tribulations, the mountains. I thank you for everything because I know that this is you telling me, hey, I need you to come sit with me because there's going to be something greater coming. But you got to prepare for it. And the way you prepare for it is if you come and sit with me. And then I just keep thinking of being a Mary. Come sit with me and be a Mary. Don't be a Martha, but be a Mary. Okay. God has promised to satisfy fully the weary soul and replenish faithfully the sorrowful heart. Jeremiah 31:25. Sometimes that means he makes me lie down. Makes you go take a nap. Go take a nap, Tara. Go take a nap, Dale. Go on, take a nap, Brianna and Tangela. Physical frailties may cause you to miss earthly fun and fellowship, but spiritual resources will enable you to grow stronger on the bed of affliction. So it's like he's helping us to refuel, renew, and as we go through these updates, it's like wake up. When those updates are happening, God, I thank you for the update. I thank you for updating me. I thank you for giving me what I need. He could probably just give you a little word, one word in the morning, and be like, "Okay, now you can go back to sleep." But it's something that'll remove the glitches. Remember when Zakia talked about that the other day? She's like, "Your phone is glitching." That's sometimes what we go through. We go through these glitches. We're kind of like in and out, in it. So it's like God's like, no. When I wake you up in those hours, that's me telling you to come so I can fix the glitches. So I can fix the mindset because today may be a harsh day for you. Today may be a day where you're going to have to let this mind be in you, which is also in Christ Jesus. That may be a scripture that he'll give to you. Today may be the day that he's like Jeremiah 29:11. I know the plans I have for you. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Just come sit with me. But then you can get to that moment of this Isaiah 40. Why are you complaining, Serena? What are you complaining about? What's the purpose of you complaining? You act like I left you. I didn't leave you. You left me. You left the word, and you forget that I exist. You forget the word is powerful, that is sharper than any two-edged sword. You forget that you can change your scenario if you just, sit in the word. Yeah, you know the word, but it's now, are you applying the word to your life and your situation? Are you sitting with me? Are you being a Mary? But right now, you being a Martha, and I'm going to need you to get your mind, get your head right. So when we get to those moments of awakening, what I call in those early morning hours of awakening, waking you up to say, okay, even like today, I was like, okay, well, God, just 30 more minutes. Just give me, so it was like 6 o'clock, and then I woke up again at 7. No, 8 o'clock, and then I was like, okay, God, 8:30, I have time. And I'm usually pretty sharp on that. Today, late. And he was like, it's all so bad. I was like, they'll call you, and I was like, okay, but he was like, you needed that. Sometimes we need that rest. Sometimes we need to just sit with them. Sometimes we need to study. Sometimes we need to go and put our feet in some water and allow someone else to do something for us. Sometimes we need to allow someone else to do our laundry, to do our cleaning. We need that. We think, oh, well, I can't afford to hire a housekeeper. I'm going to hire you. I promise you. Every other Saturday, they're going to come at 3708 and they can clean my house. I'm just, and it's not that I'm tired. It's just like, I don't want to. I just want to have someone come in and clean my house and do what I want to do. All right, so now Spirit just tapped me about this eagle. Let us look up what the eagle means. Oh, Gail is, I thought she was gone. Did she hear me?
I'm here.
Talk to her. So. All right.
Why he uses the ego in this particular scripture, I just get excited about. He could have chosen the other animal, but he chose the eagle.
Yeah. So the eagle symbolized strength, courage, freedom, immortality for generations. And unlike other eagles, the bald eagle was indigenous to the North. So consistency depicted first in the bird section of the medieval bestiarities. The eagle was likened to Christ, the divine king, and in this way continued to serve as a symbol of the ideal healer. The eagle's keen eyesight was likened to Christ, seeing all-seeing divine power. So in this when I had it in the Message Bible, it says the creator of all can see, the creator of all you can see or imagine. God is all, everything. He's everything that we can either see or imagine. Whatever we think, he's far above that. Let's see. So eagle means rebirth, leadership, honesty, truth, loyalty, and devotion, hope. Okay. Alexa, tell me to drink some water. Psychic. Alexa, stop. I don't. So, rebirth, renew, leadership, honesty, truth, loyalty, devotion, hope, the divine, it's psychic awareness. The eagle symbolizes man's connection with the spirit, vision, manifestation, and foresight. So when we think about the eagle, when he's telling us to sit down and relax, it's like we need to sit down and really get to this eagle eye, to this place of seeing the vision, knowing how to manifest and seeing before. Because when you think about an eagle goes high up. So when we're in our bubble, they're like, we're high up and we can see everything. So there's this documentary that was on Gaia, and the man was talking about the different dimensions. So when we think about the fifth dimension and the sixth dimension, they're kind of beneath each other. But in the middle, it's the seventh and eighth, I believe. So when you are as above, so below, you can see everything that's going on in the seventh dimension, which are dimensions that are far out from where you're at, but you can see down because 5 is here, 6 is here, 7 and 8 are in between. So when we think about that eagle eye, we could see far. That is why when he's waking us up in the morning, he is teaching us how to be able to see far off, to see a thing that's coming before it comes. And that's why he said, well, I know what I'm doing. So if you come to me, I can tell you how to do this thing. Okay. So different eagle species symbolize. Bald eagle is manifestation, strength, action, and victory. Yes, telling us to take action. The golden eagle, inspiration, optimism, and communication. The white eagle, have y'all ever seen the white eagle? Purity, truth, connection, and great spirit. The booted eagle is overcoming struggles. Gray eagle, God, I didn't know that there were so many. Dream, imagination, and emotional connection. Black eagle, new beginnings, metamorphosis, and evolution. Giant forest eagle, domestic security and financial success. Snake eagle, tension and victory. And the fish eagle is spirituality and prosperity. I like this. Download it. All right. So when we think about the eagle, that's what he's telling us. It's like, I'll renew your strength. That's what he said. And you'll mount up with wings as eagles, and you will soar, and you won't be weary in anything that we do. So this renewal, this is what we're going through. A lot of us think that we're going through this downtrodden place, but he says, but I will give those whose hope is in the Lord, or whose strength is in God. In the word. Strength is in the word. And he said,
Yep.
huh?
I said, yep.
Oh.
I was agreeing.
Whose will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. So it's like you won't even have to use your own strength. It'll be like you'll just be on the wing of an eagle and you'll just soar. You'll just be there. But it's so, and what he's saying and what I just heard is like, it'll be so easy. It'll be so much easier if you just come to me and allow me to show you those things afar off. Come sit with me so I can show you things that you don't even know. That's what he said in Jeremiah 20, what is it?
29:11.
No, my favorite scripture. Call unto me and I will answer you and I will show you great and unsearchable things that you didn't even know. When you come to me, I'll show you things that you don't even know. You'll know them afar off. You'll know when the storm is coming. You'll know when there's going to be peace. And I'll tell you how long there's going to be peace. You'll know when the storm is coming and you'll know for how long the storm is going to be. That's why he said in Ecclesiastes, there's a time for everything. And I'll get you that time. But when you come to me, you'll know exactly how long it's going to last, God. And then he's going to prepare you for that thing. So it's like that preparation for the thing to come. He helps you remove those glitches so that you won't mess up. Because if you think about the iPhones or just a phone in general or something that needs to update, if you keep putting off the update, you're missing out on the removal of the glitches. You're missing out on a lot of key pieces because you're not doing the update when you're supposed to do the update. Like when he's telling you to update, you're just like, oh, okay, okay, well, I'm awake, and then you go back to sleep, but you're missing out on the update so that you can move forward.
That scripture is Jeremiah 33:3.
That's my favorite scripture.
Call on to me and I will answer you. I'll show you great of anything.
That's why I told him, come to him, come sit with him. Come in my presence, and then I will teach you how to, get this rest. I'll teach you where to find the support. The support just doesn't come on its own. It comes because you're asking me, God, who will support you? Like when we have one of our ladies down, which is one now, she's not feeling very well. When they're down, it's just like, I know she doesn't have anybody there with her physically, but we can be there with her in spirit and we can pray for her. When we think about our prayers, the prayers of the righteous man availeth much. So when we're praying for her, we know that our prayers will even be answered, even if she's not, near us. But we can pray for her, and the prayer goes, because remember the centurion, when he came to Jesus, he told him, he said, you don't even have to come. All you have to do is say the word, and I know that he'll be made whole. And Jesus, your faith is so astounding to me. He said, so by the time you get back, you'll be made whole. Think about the man's daughter was sick. Even the lady said, even the crumbs, even the dogs eat the crumbs, because there was a time when back then they didn't really honor. I want to say there was a group of people that Jesus, they didn't even really mess with because they didn't believe Jesus and God and Jesus. And so the lady came because she knew, although they don't believe, I believe. Now, my people may not believe you, but I've seen what you can do. And because I've seen it, I need you to help me with mine. And Jesus was like, we don't mess with your kind. And she was like, listen, even the dogs eat the crumbs. So if you can just give me a little bit. The faith that she had, he said, listen, just because you said that, that's enough for me to be like, oh my God, let me go ahead and bless her. It's just like that mustard seed faith, that crumb. He said, just give me a crumb, God, just a little bit. So that's what he's telling us. So even in that, having the support, knowing that we'll have someone there to help us bear this load. That's in, so I'm gonna put this down, support. That is in Isaiah 50, verse 4, and then Galatians 6 and 2. Let us look it up. So, Isaiah. So now you don't have to be weary in anything. You could just get that scripture. Like, you told me that I could mount up on the wing. All right, Galatians 4, but this goes through 9. The Master God has given me a well-taught tongue. My God, even at the gate, he's already telling us. Your tongue is sharp, is powerful. It's a strong member. Okay.
What chapter was that? I'm sorry.
Isaiah 50, verse 4.
Thank you.
So even at the gate, he's already telling us your mouth is strong. Okay. It can get you in some trouble and it can get you out of some things. Okay. So I have So I know how to encourage tired people. He wakes me up in the morning. Didn't I say that? Wakes you up in the morning, okay? Wakes me up, opens my ears, listen as one ready to take orders. It's like, I'm ready to take your order, Tara, Tangela, Gail, Brianna. I'm ready to take your order. I'm here. Morning. What can I, this is God. Welcome to God's palace. What can I get for you today? And we don't never say nothing. Never say nothing to him. And he's just like, I'm ready to take your order. But you don't even ask me for nothing in the morning. He said, the master God opened my ears and I didn't go back to sleep. We go back to sleep, y'all. We do. We go back to night. Okay. And didn't pull the covers back over my head. I followed orders. When he said, get up, get up. Stood there and took it a while. They beat me, held steady while they pulled my beard, didn't dodge their insult, faced them as they spit in my face. And the master God stays right there and helps me. So I am not disgraced. Therefore, I set my face like flint, confident, and I'll never regret this. My champion is right here. Let's take our stand together. Who dares bring suit against me? Let him try. Look, the master God is right here. Who would dare call me guilty? Look, my accusers are as clothes of bins, are as a clothes bin. My accusers are a clothes bin of threadbare socks and shirts, fodder for mouths, just sitting there, stinking up the place. Right? So that's Isaiah 40. Now we go to Galatians chapter 6. This is 1 through 3. Live creatively, friends. If someone falls into sin, forgivingly restore him, saving your critical comments to yourself. There's no judgment. Okay? Don't judge a person when they fall. That's supporting them. You might be needing forgiveness before the day's out. Stoop down and reach out to those who are oppressed. Share their burdens so complete Christ's law. If you think you are too big for that, you are badly deceived. So support. So women are refreshed and invigorated by being able to walk away from a burden, even for a few hours. This is kind of like self-care. So we got support, and then we have self-care, which is Ecclesiastes 5 and 18. Let's do that one. Okay, Ecclesiastes 5:18 is make the most of what God gives. After looking at the way things are on this earth, here's what I've decided is the best way to live. Take care of yourself, have a good time, and make the most of whatever job you have as long as God gives you life. That's about it. That's the human lot. Yes, we should make the most of what God gives, both the bounty and the capacity to enjoy it, accepting what's given and delighting in the work. It's God's gift. God deals out joy in the present, the now. It's useless to brood over how long we might live. You know, those people be like, well, I'm going to live a long time. Or I might die today. Okay. So that's the self-care. So then women need to guard against overcommitment. Okay. Overcommitting yourself. That is in Hebrews 12 and 1. And then your rest and relaxation should become reprioritizing responsibilities. That's Matthew 6 and 33. And rethinking your free time is Ecclesiastes 3, verses 1 through 8. So overcommitment. Let's look at Hebrews 12:1. Because we do this a lot. We get into things and we're just like, yeah, because it's like that FOMO, that fear of missing out. If I don't do it, I'm gonna miss out on something. No, we ain't gonna miss out on nothing. So this is 1 through 3. It says, "Do you see what this means? All these pioneers who blazed the way, all these veterans cheering us on. It means we better get on it, get on with it. Strip down, start running, and never quit. No extra spiritual fat, no parasitic sin. Keep your eyes on Jesus. Keep your eyes on the Word, who both began and finished this race we're in. Study how he did it, because he never lost sight of where he was headed. That exhilarating finish in and with God, in and with the Word. He could put up with anything along the way, cross, shame, whatever. And now he's there in the place of honor, right alongside God. When when you find yourselves flagging in your faith, go over that story again, item by item. That long litany of hostility he plowed through, that will shoot adrenaline to your souls. I like that. Discipline in long distance races, like it gives us the discipline in the commitments. When we make commitments and we overcommit ourselves, he's like, no, be disciplined in the things that you do. There are some things that you just don't need to take part in. There's certain things that I won't put myself in. And I was talking to someone about that, and I was like, I don't go out like I used to. I like being at home. So I don't put myself in a situation. Oh, it was a client. And she was like, no. She was like, my friends want me to go out. And she said, I told them no, because, she has a work permit. And so she was like, if I don't work, then I can't stay here. So she was like, so I just keep myself out of situations. I keep myself home with my kids so that I don't get into any trouble. It's like resist the devil and he will flee. Temptation to want to be in like a MasterCard everywhere you don't need to be. Okay, we don't need to be in every place, in every setting, in every group thing, or every hanging out with these girls. We don't need to be a part of that. What's the face, Tara?
That's just like that saying, being everywhere, doing everything.
Yeah. Yeah, my little cousin is that way, being everywhere, doing everything, and she's just like, ma'am, I cannot. Like this week coming up, she's got a week full of stuff, and I'm like, I have to think, is that something that I want to partake in? Is that something that I want to come out of my bubble and partake with people that I really, number one, I don't know, and then being in this environment. Remember we talked about last week being in the world but not of the world. No, I'm just going to choose to be at home. Now, I may go to one or two of her events, but I'm not about to just waste my money, in these frivolous places with her. I just can't see myself doing that. I just can't.
Sometimes I need to get out. I'm too much in a bubble. I'm routine, work home, kids, work home, help kids, work home. I'm too much in a bubble. I need to push myself to do a little bit more, have more fun.
Yeah, for yourself.
Yeah, so I think
we
it's
talked about that too, where I remember telling you put yourself in places that you shouldn't be in. And so when you get in those places, it's just like you're in your bubble, but then you're just like, oh, let me go down here and help the kids. Let me go down here and help poops. Let me go help. And God is like, go help yourself. Go and enjoy, a little meal by yourself, where you ain't got to give everybody else. It's like, I'm going to go have dinner with Tangent. Me and Tangent going to have dinner.
yeah. So I got to come more out of it. I don't know if it's a bubble. I just know that things got to get done. Things got to be taken care of. I got to do this. And then I'm too tired. I am tired.
So it's now for us to learn how to delegate those things. Delegating those, like this yesterday, my kid came and she, grocery shopping. And I was sitting here and I'm working on some stuff for my business. And I was like, I don't want to stop doing what I'm doing, So it's like now I have to be able to learn how to delegate that thing. So I was like, you and your older sister go to the grocery store. And I said, but before you go, I want you to make a list. Make the list and go to the grocery store. And she came up, she made the list and she was like, okay, mom, what do you think? And so I, looked over the list and I said, very good. And I said, but there's a list right there. So she was like, you could have did. And I said, no, I want you to learn how to do that for yourself. So you know exactly what is my budget? What am I looking to spend? And I said, and you should be scanning your kitchen to see, okay, well, we already have sugar, we already have this, we already have that. So it's setting them to say, all right, well, I can do this thing here. Oh, there it is. So it's like giving priority to someone else, prioritizing that time and saying, delegating, saying, okay, today, Michael, I'm not cooking today, so I need you to go and cook. Or today, Michael, I need you to do this. Or, I'm going to start delegating the monthly bills to my daughter. So the oldest one. So you'll know your numbers. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know how much you're spending a month. Delegate the bills to her. I'm gonna give her my credit card. I'm gonna tell her this is how you budget your money and pay those things, because it relieves me of that, that part of it. And then also, especially for me, it's like my laundry. So it's like right now the washer is messed up, so I can take it over to this place. So it's like delegating those things and outsourcing it somewhere else to where we're burdened down with that, right? All right, so then it's talking about reprioritizing the responsibilities, which we just talked about that. So we don't have to be responsible for everything that we can delegate. And there are certain things that we probably can. Like Terry, you can probably delegate, certain things to Joshem. Joshem. I can't even talk to that.
Sean.
Deshaun. Joshem is the grandson. Deshaun. Yeah. Okay. Matthew 6.
He pays the rent, he pays the light bill, nothing, everything is in his name. All I have I told you we have a house account. So I put the amount of money every month in there. I have nothing to do with it. I love it. I don't, I'm taking a break from that part of adulting and letting him learn how to adult.
Yes.
So he says to me, Mom, I don't have so and so. The money's in there. That's what it's for. I said, and I told him, I said, this month we should be to a positive because you don't need that much for the house as far as paper towels, laundry detergent, dish detergent, those things. I said, nothing should come out of my personal money. Everything should come out of the house account. So I shouldn't be spending my money to go get dish detergent.
Right.
The dog food, everything comes out of the house account.
Which I need to get. That's a good idea to have that. Having everybody put into that house account.
Yeah.
Like toilet paper.
I my money to get paper towels when I could have took that money and went to the nail shop, went to the nail place, or bought me a body wash for myself.
Yeah. All right. So reprioritizing responsibilities. So it starts at 30. It says, if God gives such attention to the appearance of wildflowers, most of which are never even seen, don't you think he'll attend to you? Take pride in you, do his best for you. What I'm trying to do here is to get relaxed, to not be so preoccupied with getting, so so you can respond to God's giving. People do not know God and the way he works, fuss over things. Martha, fuss over things. But both God and know how he works. Steep your life in God reality, God initiative, and God provision. Don't worry about missing out. You'll find all your everyday human concerns will be met.
I feel like what he's telling us now is like, all the word he's giving us is like, I hear smooth sailing. This should be smooth sailing for you. I've given you everything. Like, like he's saying, come before him, ask, call on me. I'm going to answer you. Come sit with me. Like we got instructions. So just like we were doing the dream, I dream and just speaking and manifesting. I mean, it's come to him, ask him, knowing he's going to do, he
Yeah.
has a plan. Like, chill
No,
out,
he's doing. He's like, I know
delegate.
what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's like delegate. What? Just do it.
Yeah, this God living in God reality is what it's saying. God initiative.
That's what I hear when you was reading it. I'm like, this is smooth sailing. Like,
And then God provision. So it's like, I'm here. I can do everything. So when we think about this scripture that you gave us this morning, that's what he's saying. He's like the God of, of all you can see or think or imagine. He's everything.
everything.
And he's like, it's so easy. When I wake you up in the morning, I can give you one word and you can go back to sleep. I can give you a word that refreshes you. Sometimes these updates aren't a lot of things. It's just going to be one little item that I need to refresh. I need to refresh your thinking. I need to refresh your heart. I need to update how you feel about yourself. I need to update how you see yourself. I need to update how you speak to yourself. I need to update how you're seeing life in general. I need to update you. And if I can't update you when you go back to sleep, you go, oh, I'll update later. I'll do it later. And he's like, okay, so this is the reason why. I know what I'm doing. So when I'm waking you up at 2, 3, 4 in the morning, it's because I need to update you. So
Yeah.
before they get started, you already are in the present moment. You're there. You already know it's been downloaded into you. How many times have you waken up? And this is just something that just came to me. It's like there was one morning I woke up, it was 3 o'clock in the morning, and all I kept saying was, I'm a very lucky woman. Everything always works out for me. And I just kept saying it, kept saying it, kept saying it. I woke up the next morning and I felt so different. Like I felt different.
Got that update.
Yeah.
That reminder. You know how your phone, well, I set reminders. So it's just like God setting that reminder. Remember that.
Yeah.
You
So
know?
in those morning hours, I'm getting this into you so that when the update happens, it won't forget the old thing. It won't forget that new thing that I put inside of you, and it won't remember the old. It'll remember the new update that I've given you. All right. So then it talks about rethinking 3 times. That's in Ecclesiastes 3, 1-8.
I got Malachi 3:10.
Where was that from? That just came to you?
When you were speaking earlier, I wrote it down. So I
Okay,
just wanted that so you can write it down. Malachi 3:10.
I did. Okay. So 3, 1-8. Uh, and this goes 2-8. So there's an opportune time to do things. A right time for everything in the earth. A right time for birth and another for death. A right time to plant, another to reap. A right time to kill, another to heal. A right time to destroy and another to construct. A right time to cry and another to laugh. So it's a time for everything. So it's reconstructing your time, rethinking how your time is. Do I cry today? What is this emotion? Why am I crying? What is this for? So rethinking the time that you're doing it. So when you're thinking a thought, it's like, I can rethink that thought in that split second. I can rethink it and make it something. Thinking what you're talking about, what you're about to say, how you're feeling. Because he's telling us there's a time for us to feel love, laugh, joy, all of that. Girl, my grandson is down there going, hey, mama, W. Okay, Malachi 3:10, you said.
Mm-hmm.
So this goes 8-11. By being honest, don't do honest people rob God, but you rob me day after day. You ask how have we robbed you? The tithe and offering, that's how. And you and now under and now you're under a curse, the whole lot of you, because you're robbing me. Bring your full tithe to the temple treasury so that there is ample provision in my temple. Test me in this and see that if I don't open up heaven itself to you and pour out blessings beyond your wildest dreams. For my part, I will defend you against marauders, protect your wheat fields and vegetable gardens. against plunders, the message of God of the angel armies. The master you've been looking for. What he's saying. You're robbing me when I tell you to get up and you don't give me your time. When I say get up, get up. When I wake you up in that morning hour, God, I'm here. Remember Samuel. Is that you? Eli, are you?
Eli, did you call me?
You call
Say, go lay down.
like, go back to sleep. That's pretty much what happens to us. We get woken up and then we get that thought of like, who? Why am I awake? And then you question, why am I awake? God's like, well, because I want to give you the eagle eye. I want you to be able to soar. I want you to be able to, this is easy. I want today to be so easy for you. But see, then you don't get up. Then he's like, go back to sleep. So then you go back to sleep. And then you wake up and you have such a crap day because you're not coming to me and asking me what you're supposed to be doing. Remember, I know what I'm doing. I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm not here like you think I'm, and this is how kind of saying is like, you guys think I'm stupid. I know exactly what I'm doing. I know exactly what I am doing. And so you guys think that, I'll just go back to sleep and, and he's like, but in that moment, if you're going back to sleep, you're missing out on the update. You're missing out on the word that's going to save you for today. Missing out on the word that's going to keep you today. You're missing out on the God provision for the day. You're missing out on God's reality for the day. You're missing out on God's initiative for the day. You're missing out on so much. I like that. You're missing out on the support. I'm here to support you. I'm here to tell you today, maybe you need to just, not do this. Maybe you need to go over here and do this. And if you've planned your self-care day, maybe they're telling you, don't go over to this nail salon, go to that one. Because there may be something over at this nail salon that you need. Or he may be telling you, don't go to this person to get your hair done, but go over here and do it that way. You just never know. He said, but because you don't come when I wake you up in the morning to give you the message or the update, it's like you're missing out on so many things. And then that's when the glitches happen. Then you start getting glitchy. Then your attitude starts getting changed. Then you start getting shifty. Then you're just like, I just don't know where God is. I felt like that 2 days ago. I was like, I don't know. I don't know what's happening to me. And he said, well, I've woken you up. I've woken you up, but you never asked for anything. You never placed your
That's why in that scripture where it says, test me. You have to test God at his word. He is the word in the word. And he says, test me now in this. Test me in my word. Bring it back to me. What did I tell you? Did I promise it to you? Give it back to me. And he says, if I will not open up the windows of heaven and pour out those blessings, there's not going to be room. He said, test me. That's what I want. This week, we're going to test him. Let's test him. Let's do it. So when you say, God, I don't know where you are, he said, he'll never leave you or forsake you. That's what you told me, God. I'm going to test that. Where you at? I just love him.
Complaining about. Why are you complaining? I'm here. I've never left you. I've never not been there for you. Just because you don't see me don't mean I'm not there.
Right. And I think because of human, we go by feeling. We don't feel, my feelings. I don't feel like he's there. Sometimes people want that goosebumps or they want that grand, Tara, this is the Lord thy God. We want that grandstand,
Like, no.
Just like a black cat walked in front of my car last night. And I said, and I never even looked at it. I said, Spirit, I wonder what that black cat means. Ask me, did I look it up? I ain't looking up.
But I know new things are coming. I think there's new things are coming your way or something like that. So that's what he says. Why would you ever complain? Why would you ever complain or whine about a thing? Why would you do that? God has not lost track of you. Like God has lost track of us. And then you say God's lost me. God's not there. He said he doesn't care about what happens to me. He said, don't you know anything? Do you know anything? Haven't you been listening? You've been just week after week, Sunday after Sunday, Wednesday after Wednesday. You do this all the time. He said, but you've been listening. He said, and God does doesn't come and go. He lasts. I'm here always. He's the creator of all you can see or imagine. Doesn't get tired out, doesn't pause to catch his breath. He's like, he's not a human. But he's telling you, I'm not a human being. I'm not in the flesh. He's like, and he knows everything inside and out. He energizes those who get tired. Gives fresh strength to dropouts, even for the young when they get tired. You know, this millennials, they get tired fast. But he's telling us they get tired. They don't work. They don't last long. But he's like, I haven't lost. What's up?
I got a question. I was to the chaplain, and one of them was saying the other day, she kept saying God is a he. She said, stop saying God is a he, because he's not a he. God is spirit. He's not a he. She said, she told the other chaplain, you are used to saying he until that's just what you say automatically. I think we all do.
Colonizer way. Colonizers made us believe that God is a being, a fleshly being, because it's like that tag. And so the only reason why we say God is a man is because of how the slave owners and the colonizers depicted it and changed the narrative in the Bible. So she's absolutely correct. God is spirit.
Right. And when she do read, like you said, she was taught into the church, they say he. I was raised he. But he looked like a white man in these houses years ago. They used to put him on. My grandma had him posted up. He looked white, on the wall. And that's what we won by. So in our mind, God is a he, because he looked like a he on that picture. She had it in the house. So I was just wondering why people always keep saying he, because I had sat down and I agree with the spirit. I said, I think God is all, because spirit is all.
Yeah, God, he was an entity. Wasn't like he's like, let's create man in our image. Them. So it wasn't like it was just like, okay, so we're gonna create just the man. We're gonna create all of them in our image. So we are created in the likeness of the gods that are connected to us. Each one of us has different gods that work with us, different spirits that work with us. So when we think about that, God was one thing, but then he created everything. So in this book that we're reading, the power of God, in this book, he says that God said, I had to come out of myself and create something so that I can see me. So he was like, I created myself out of nothing. Out of the nothingness, I had to create myself into something so that people would see me in the nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's deep, but it's just, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. So he was like, there was nothing. He was like, I was by myself. I was just here. And so I had to create something so I can see myself in this world. So that's why when he created us in his image, I had to create something in the likeness of me so I can see myself in action. That is why when we get the downloads and we get the messages or the updates, it's just got the spirit realm telling us, I'm coming down so that you can manifest in this world.
Okay. Make sure you send me this video, because I'm at work. You come in, you ain't glitching, but you coming in here and you coming in there. So sometimes I like to sit and re-listen to the video.
Okay. So it's 11:11. So that is what he's teaching us. He's teaching us that we can take nothing and make something. So Tara, remember when I told you about your cookbook?
Yes.
And it's like you can take items and you can create a meal out of those items. So it's taking nothing, something that's just there, and you can create something out of the nothingness that you have and make it good for you. So that's what God is telling us. In this setting, I can take something out of nothing and I can create it into something, right? But
Right.
to me, Tara, to get the download or to get the ingredient, when we think about the man that has Chick-fil-A, he had a dream about a chicken. I really want to read his book, but they said he's racist. But anyway, but he wrote a book about how he came up with Chick-fil-A.
But who was it racist at that time? Who was it?
Everybody was racist. But there are
Yeah.
people right now that are racist that own restaurants that we don't that we haven't even probably thought about. That are
Yeah.
never known they were racist, but things are starting to come to the forefront.
Most of the white people, most of them was racist back then because that's what they was taught. But
I guess now you can hopefully you can hear me better.
yeah,
Yeah, because my laptop is closed, but this my speaker is down there. So I have to buy me some headphones. Anyway, so that's pretty much what that means is like it's like when I think about Tara and when he told her to correlate the recipes in her book to the word, to give a word in, correlated with a scripture, it's like it's teaching people how to take something out of nothing. If I just got an onion and some mushrooms and some noodles and butter, because that's a good recipe, that sounds good. So if I just have that, I can make a meal because the mushrooms kind of are depicted as a protein, as a meat. Then I got the onions and then I got the noodles, the salt, make a little sauce and some flour, make a little nice little roux or whatever you call it. And that's a good meal. It sustains you. So that's what he's saying. I got to take something out of nothing, in your nothingness. What you're saying right now is in your nothingness. I have to take something out of that nothingness to create something that's going to sustain you and it's going to help you stay nourished. So when we think about the word, that's why he said, why are you complaining? What are you complaining about? Jeremiah 29:11. I know the thoughts that I have for you. I know what I'm doing. But when you don't come to me to get the divine recipe, I love that. I gotta write that down. The divine recipe of life. He's like, recipe. I can spell. So the divine recipe of life is in the morning time. When I'm coming to you and I'm waking you up, that's a recipe for life. It could be just one word. It could be one ingredient that you're missing for the day that'll sustain you all day long. It's like that meal. Some people may think, oh girl, that's not a good meal, but that's a meal that will sustain you. Because you have the mushrooms, you have the pasta, that carb, you have all of that in there. So Tara, it's like really when you think about what Spirit is doing with you, it's like he's telling you create those things. What pasta? It's a carbohydrate, but what is it going to do for you? How is it going to help you? There are different kinds of mushrooms. What mushroom will go good with that? When you were talking about what's in your pantry. It's like, what's in there? If you have some sauce, you could take the sauce, add some noodles to it, add some mushrooms, and a little bit of Parmesan cheese.
A whole meal.
You got a whole meal. You don't necessarily need the meat. The mushrooms itself kind of depicts itself as meat. If you got some tofu, you better add that tofu in there because tofu takes the taste of, and it just makes it,
And you season it too.
Yeah. So that's when I don't know why we're on you today. Anyway,
God is giving me a confirmation. I just received it.
so it's when you're thinking about writing, when you're writing the book, it's like your cookbook. It's like add the scriptures to it because it gives people the context of not just getting the word, not just creating a meal, but also creating the word in the meal. So creating that meal in the word and in something that'll nourish. It's like, okay, so what he just said is it'll nourish your soul and it'll nourish your body. So it's like you're giving them the whole context of this is what you're going to nourish your soul, but I'm also going to nourish your body with this good food and this good word. and it correlates together. So even when you're, you know, blessing your meal, you can start saying those scriptures in the meal. God, I thank you for this meal that you have given me, this bountiful blessing, this cornucopia of a meal that you have given me. Although it may not be a lot to some, but God, I thank you, it's enough for me, you know. Even when you think about peas, you can take peas and add it to, you know, pasta and make a sauce, and it'll be a good meal. You
Very
know,
good.
I've done it. I promise you, I've done it. There's this little meal that my daughter loves, and it's so simple. It's just pasta, butter, garlic, um, parsley, and red pepper flakes. You cook the pasta, something, and she loves it. That is like her go-to meal. And then even in that, you can just add the peas into that, and it makes it something so much, you know what I'm saying? So that's like a good vegetarian meal right there in itself, vegan meal, whatever, I don't know. But it's a good meal that you know, so like when we're fasting and we're trying to cut out certain things, you know, because that was one of the things that they taught us in church is taking out meat. That could be a good substitute right there in itself because you're getting your carbs, you're getting your vegetables. Proteins, you can probably add you some mushrooms in there, whatever, tofu, I don't know, but it's something that will but it still gives you the nourishment to your body, you know. And then that adding that scripture to it gives them nourishment to their soul. God, I thank you for this meal, that it sustains me. I thank you for this word because it sustains my mind, my spiritual walk that I'm walking as I'm eating this meal. So it's this bountiful blessing that he gives, but it's the divine recipe of life. When we don't get that, when we're waking up in the morning, and for me, I hear the words. So I'll hear the words. And like yesterday, I had a lady that I was talking to, and I just was like in the shower. And anytime I do a reading, I always ask God, what is the word? And sometimes he's just like, they don't need one. Just go ahead and do the reading, whatever. And so yesterday I was like, well, God, what does she need to know? Just kind of download into me, what does this girl need to know? And all I heard was enlightenment.
Mm.
So I looked it up and I was just like, well, let's look it up because, you know, I'm wordy. So I looked it up, and in that it was just like, oh. And so then I said, well, you've put yourself in this bubble. And she said, you are actually on point. She was like, I actually did that. So I'll do the reading, and then we have this dialogue after, but she was just like, you're absolutely correct. She said, I did it on purpose. I did it for myself. And I said it, and I could just see her in this bubble, and she's got like her notebook and she's got a journal, and she's just sitting, and she gets to observe the things that are around her and say, is this something that I need to put myself in, or is it something that I can just say, no, I don't need to partake in that, you know? So when we're thinking about this moment today where he's saying, what are you complaining about? It's so easy. This is an easy walk, but all you have to do is you just got to get up so you can get the recipe for your life today. Because my recipe is going to be different than Tara's. My recipe is going to be different than Zacchaeus. My recipe is going to be different than, you know, Tangela and, oh, I heard something. I was like, it's going to be different than, you know, Tangela. It's way different. Every recipe, every it's different. So because Tara is more advanced in the cooking field, the recipe that I just gave her, she could probably add something to it and make it all the more better. You know, she could probably add some chicken to it. She could probably add something else that's going to make it more tangible, you know, and I'll be like, ooh, that's good too. But I like this one. I like this recipe. But I'll take what you're giving because it may be something that I can use down the road. So when we think about these words, we think about when Jesus is when God is waking us up, when the Spirit is waking us up in the morning, there may be something that we need to give to someone else. We need to share the recipe of life. That is our duty. That is why we are in this setting today, because we have to be able to know the word so that we can share the recipes of our life to other people. And be able to say, this is what I've gone through. This is my recipe, and this is how I made it. This is what I went through. But I want to share with you, this is what happens, because they probably already got a piece of the recipe, but they need the full recipe. And they probably like, I remember there was this recipe or this word, and it came and it was saying something like, I know the thoughts or something. And we could be like, yes, God knows your thoughts. He knows the thoughts that he has for you. He knows the plan. It's a plan to prosper you, not to hurt you. So everything that you're going through is not anything God's trying to hurt you. He's trying to level you up. And we got to use it in layman terms. So I use a lot of the word in layman's terms where I tell them it's not here to hurt you. It's here to make you level up. It's here to make you grow up, because that's what the scripture says. When I was a child, I thought as a child, but when I got older, I put away these childish things, and I had to grow up. So that means growing up means I got to take care of myself. I got to find the support that I need. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to reach out and be like, sis, listen, today's not a good day. And I don't know what's going on. And you never know the wisdom that'll come from another person that'll tell you, here's what happened. That happened with Terry the other day. She called me and I was just like, oh my God, what's going on? And in that moment, we kind of it was like this aha moment for the both of it. Was like, that's what it is. So when you have that person that's on your level, that understands the word and understands, you never want to give yourself, and I don't know who this is for, stop giving your personal problems to people that are not on your level.
Yes.
Stop doing that, because when they're not on your level, they will bottom barrel you and they will put you back and it's like a setback. I don't know who this is for. But it's like a setback. It's like they're setting you back because you're giving them, and because they're not mentally, spiritually, they're not on your level. We come here Wednesday after Wednesday after Sunday after Sunday, and we get this word. And so God is like, why would you go out here and give it to somebody that ain't even that don't even know me, and I don't even know them? So I don't know which one of y'all is out there giving your life to people that don't really have your best interest, that don't even know the word, that can't even fill you up. It's like they just suck you dry, just empty you out, and they deplete you and have you going backwards in your thought process. So whoever that was for, and the church said amen.
Amen.
But you can't keep giving yourself.
Amen. It could be me. I don't know. I talk a lot. I don't know, God.
Yeah, but just don't give that. Why would you want to give yourself your life to people that aren't even on your level mentally, spiritually? It's okay. We talk. I do it too, and it may be for me, because I talk to these ladies at work, and it's just like they have a different level of belief. They believe in the devil, and you're just like, really? You do? So sad for you.
So you is absolutely right. Don't give it to people
that are not on your level, and that when you're giving that quantified word that God has given us, like I said, Sunday after Sunday, Wednesday after Wednesday, we come here Wednesday. I used to say that when I was a little kid, but Wednesday after Wednesday, we get this word and we understand how to use and affirm ourselves in the word. And you want to go out here and you want to talk to some random person who is probably bitter, broken, and busted. I don't know where that came from, but she's probably bitter, she's broken, and she's busted down, and you want to go and talk to her. That's like talking to a homeless person to be like, so they barely trying to help themselves, and nothing against the homeless people, but it's like, why? But then people be like, well, geez, the God don't care who he used. Yeah, he do. Now he may send a message in that moment because you've been walking around here acting like it's supposed to come, like Tara said, like I'm supposed to just strike the sky and bow and Jesus and then give you this magical word. He's like, no, I can speak to a homeless person through you. But it's a matter of if you are listening in that moment. What's that scripture where he said, he opens my eyes? What was that one? That God, I think it was Matthew 6:33. It was out of the Message Bible. And see, it's like these hidden treasures in the scriptures. He said, if God gives such attention to the appearance of wildflowers, most of which are never even seen, some people don't think that he won't attend to you. Okay. Take pride in you. Do his best. Do his best for you. What I'm trying to do here is to get you to relax, to not be so preoccupied with getting so you can respond to God's giving. People who don't know God and the way he works fuss over things, but you know both God and how he works. Steep your life in God's reality, God's initiative, and God's provision. Don't worry about missing out. That's not the one that I was talking about. It was the one where it said, he opens up your eyes in the morning. What was that one? Oh my gosh. Was it this one? No, it wasn't that one. I think it's this one. I think it's this
And you said it's in Matthew?
one. It was the one I just read it where he says he wakes you up in the morning. I wonder if it's this one, Isaiah 50, where he wakes you up in the morning and it is called, there it is, Isaiah 50:4. That's support. The Master God has given me a well-taught tongue. That's what he's telling you. I've taught you how to speak to me. So I know how to encourage tired people. God, we know how to encourage, and even in ourselves, we know how to encourage ourselves. He said, he wakes me up in the morning, wakes me up, opens my ears to listen as one ready to take orders. The Master God opened my ears so I didn't go back to sleep, didn't pull the covers back over my head. I followed orders. I stood there and took it while they beat me. So it's like following the orders. He wakes you up so you could have your ears open, so your eyes can see, so you can be in the ever movement of understanding how God operates. You know God. That's what he said. I know what I'm doing. But all you have to do is you just come and sit with me so I can do what I need to do with you. But you're not coming to get the recipe of life. You're just, oh, well, all right, well, I'm just going to pull the covers back over my head. I'm going to go to sleep. And then when trouble happens, this is for somebody. Then when trouble happens, then you want to reach out and call people that aren't even on your level. Mentally, emotionally, financially, spiritually, they're not even on your level. He said, then you want to reach out to them. Oh, Jacob and oh, Israel, what are you complaining for? When I gave you the tongue, he said, I gave you the word in your tongue. I gave you. Why are you going out here seeking counsel from people that I don't even know who they are. They've never come to talk to me. They've never sought me. What are you getting a word from people for? Why are you seeking counsel from people that I haven't talked to this person, never known them? A well-taught tongue. He said, I've given you a well-taught tongue. And you going out here and you speaking to people, you can speak to yourself. But you going out here speaking to people that I don't know them. You know how we have those friends and we be like, girl, I don't know her. I don't know her at all. So I'm not going to tell my story to her. I'm not going to give her my business. I'm not going to do it. I don't know her. And that's what God is telling you. I don't know them. So what are you going to them for?
Yes, Lord.
What are
Speak,
you
God.
What are you talking to them for? Why are you going to seek counsel from people that don't even have your best interest, let alone theirs? They come, and this is what he's saying. Even in that, if we think about the context of it, he's like, they come and they beat me up. They talk about me. They rip my beard. They ripping my hair out. They're ripping my soul. And you want me to go and talk to these people? You want to go and listen to them? When I gave you a well-trained tongue that you could speak life, death, and life were in the power of the tongue, and you would rather go and give it to a Shaquisha that don't even have the mindset that you have, that I've taught you. We've been doing this now for 2.5 years. And 2.5 years, he's like, y'all should not be going out here doing anything. Remember when he told Peter and them, how long am I going to be here? How long? Okay, because we've been doing this for a long, long time, and it should be nowhere in this way that you should be weak and not being able to cast out a demon. There should be no reason, because I've been doing this for a long time. Long, long time. All right, so where was I at? 50:4. The sovereign Lord, so this is out of the NIV. The sovereign Lord has given me a well-instructed tongue to know the word that sustains the weary. He wakens me morning by morning, wakens my ears to listen like one being instructed. The sovereign God has opened my ears. I have not been rebellious. I have not turned away. I've offered my back to those who beat me. I'm coming to chicks that don't like me. Why would you go to some, they don't like us. And I often wonder, like, oh, how come, they don't like, he said, because I've created you so different. You are such a different being. So different. Such a different being. He said, I've offered my back, my cheeks to those who pulled out my beard. I did not hide my face from mocking and spitting. Because the sovereign God helps me, I will not be disgraced. Therefore, I have set my face like flint, and I know I will not be put to shame. He who vindicates me is near. Who then will bring charges against me? Let us face each other. Who is my accuser? Let him confront me. It is the sovereign Lord who helps me, who will condemn me. They will all wear out like a garment. The moths will eat them up. So you're going to talk to people who will wear out like a garment and the moths just come and just eat it up. So you would rather go and talk to somebody who's not even fitly, they don't even have the right fitting. They don't even fit in your life, and you don't even fit in theirs. He said you would rather go and talk to somebody who, number one, will probably stab you in your back, who has probably done it right now, who is so malicious in the way they talk. And this is one of the things that I just thought about, and maybe this is for me. So, I started this new position, and there were some things that actually came up, and I was just like, well, number one, I wasn't trained properly. But then I thought about the conversations that I have with this one lady, and I thought, man, because you and we have conversations about another coworker, and I thought, well, whoa, wait a minute, because if you could be talking about her, I can only imagine what is being said about me behind my back when you're having lengthy conversations. Like, I can only imagine, because I know the conversations that you and I have about, one of our other coworkers. So I can imagine what you're saying. So maybe that's for me. Just watch the conversation. And I've been really knowing, like, I need to stop kind of having these conversations with them, especially about my personal life, because they're not on the same level as me. They're not on the same mindset when it comes down to they're in church, and I'm in the spiritual walk. So it's that thing of, so maybe that was for me. I'll take it.
What they say, a dog who bring a bone, take a bone, or take a bone, bring a bone.
Listen, when I thought about that, because I thought about that yesterday, and I was like, I can only imagine the conversations that they're having about me. Because we have conversations about another coworker, and I thought, I can only imagine what you guys are saying about me, my personal life and the things that you're taking. So let me, now that's the prayer that I have to pray. God, help me to keep my personal life at work. Don't let me get too attached to people that really don't have my best interests. That will literally throw me out there and just be like, okay, she'll survive. And my boss had told me, she said, I put you on this pedestal because you were doing the back end work. And I said, but I was never doing the front end. So you can't expect me to know what to do when, there's a protocol. And she was like, I failed you. Yeah, you did. And I was like, no, it's okay. But even in that, so that was a message for myself. And for all of us, really. It wasn't just for me, it was for all of us. Stop giving your information to people that are not on your level. Just because they go to church don't necessarily mean that they have the same mindset as you. Because they'll believe a thing and condemn you in the thing that you get, that you believe. And we've noticed a lot of women out here in this church world, they will condemn you because you believe in spirituality and your ancestors. And will try to talk you and be like, oh my God, you talking to your ancestors? Yeah, just like you talk to grandma when your grandmama died. I know you'd be like, I know my grandma's here. Yeah, so are mine. Mine's is here. My granddaddy's here. They all here.
So hey, y'all.
Yeah. But it's wrong when I do it. But it's okay for the church to do it. And then it's okay for y'all to do a ritual every first Sunday. So today's the first Sunday. They've broken bread and they've drank the body.
And why?
They've done it all. So, but it's wrong if I do a ritual. It's wrong for me, but we do it every Sunday. So there's that. Okay.
There's a lot of the church doesn't understand how it connects. how it just connects. Like, remember I said that time when I had studied up on how when people are in the spirit and they're slain in the spirit and they put the sheet over them, that comes from the African heritage. That comes from the Africans, our ancestors. Because when they would do the African ceremonies on the plantation, you know, the master didn't want them doing it. And when the spirit would take over them, they would lay out and they'll be in the middle of the field and they would lay a sheet over them and they would tell the master, oh, so-and-so, they don't feel good. And that's where laying of the sheet comes over. They were hiding their ritual from the master. And we do it in the church, the Black church. White church don't do that. Nobody else does it but us.
And then
because that ancestors did.
they'll try to make us be wrong. Like, no, you shouldn't be. No. Wasn't that deep though? That's a deep message. Oh, somebody didn't text me. It's the kid. She's home. This teenager. Her little friend, her and her best friend, so she had this friend and they got into it, whatever. So they ended up talking to each other again. So I was like, listen, I have to trust you with my kid, and I don't think that you got her best interests. She was like, I think it was just because we just allow everybody else to get into our relationship. And I said, okay, so now you know. But I don't know. They're back friends again. So, you know, there's that. I'm just I told my daughter, keep an eye. Just now you watch. Be ever watchful with that person. That's what I was about to look up. What time this game is happening today? So does anybody have anything they want to say, share? I know Zakia had a moment and I was trying to get to her. Six. So it'll be 4. Is it 4 our time?
Yeah, it's 6. If it's Eastern, it's 4 your time.
Oh no, it's Mountain. I think it said Mountain.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not it.
There. Oh. Well, that was a good word today. That comfort in our renewal of our life.
Beautiful message. My kids loud, but beautiful message.
Oh, it's okay, girl. We have kids. We got them. You are welcome.
Say thank you. She getting her hair down. She's so mad.
Oh, girly. I done cut mine some more, and I was like, dang, I cut a lot when I thought about it. But
it be growing back so fast, your hair.
Does it?
The Mexicans, it be growing back so fast.
Yeah, so I have to cut. You know, I trim my ends. That's why I trim my ends every month. Every full moon.
Oh, you do it every month. Yesterday was a full moon. Leah.
Yeah, my mom used to trim when I was growing up, my mom used to trim my ends every full moon. And see, it's those rituals that we don't know about.
Exactly.
Every full moon, my mom would come and be like, come on, come sit down. And she would trim my ends. And my hair was like, when I was a little girl, my hair was like down to here. And it was like this dirty, sandy brown hair. Ugh. Hated that hair.
Oh, you got a picture of it?
I think I can find one. Yeah. It was like this dirty, reddish, brownish hair. And then as I got older, my hair just changed color. So it's like a light brown, but you can't see it. But yep.
Who is it?
I have to find a picture.
So Rhonda I think she was trying to get into the prayer and she kept coming through to my phone. So, you know, I had just got my phone. So both phones was trying to ring. but she was coming in on my old phone. So she did try to come in on Wednesday.
Oh, so I need to give her the thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, she was coming in on mine. And I kept saying, who is Rhonda that's calling me? And I finally, for some reason, my phone snapped her picture, like it caught her face. Because I
Oh,
didn't know who it was. And it was her. Mhm. So yeah, so we can send it to her for Wednesday prayer would be awesome.
So
Right.
Rhonda's a new person?
no, Rhonda's been here, gosh, since we started.
Mhm.
But when she goes through things, she kind of regresses. She pulls back, and then she'll show up. So we just got to keep in touch with her. There's a few ladies that, you know, we need to keep in touch with. So there's a new thing that I'm going to be doing. And y'all just pray for me. Pray for me. So after the group, this is something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. Is after we have our Sunday, I wanted to start creating a newsletter or some kind of, you know, blurb of what we talked about, and
Oh,
then send
awesome.
it out on email. Just so the ladies, because there's so many when I had started my TikTok, there was a lot of ladies that I had, and so I still have their emails. So I just need to, you know, get back into that so they know that I'm still around, that I'm still, you know, present and I'm still doing it. And then let them know about the groups and just add the links to things so they'll have it. And then we'll kind of move forward with that. But that's one of the things I'm going to do. So I'm going to kind of, you know, like not so much as turn it into a message, but kind of give that motivational piece in the word that we have. So I'm gonna start doing that, and that'll be that thing there.
And people need that.
Mhm.
People
Yeah.
need that.
Yeah. So I was doing this thing that I got, and I just need to like, I don't know why I'm not able to be consistent and stuff, but I got this thing from this business owner, and it's like make your business your side hustle, make money in your side hustle. And one of the things that the question was asking, like, how can you, you know, what can I do? And I was like, man, one of the things that I don't do is I don't, you know, put the message out on my social media, my TikToks and stuff. And then I don't email them. And the ladies, like, I have them, but it's like I don't, you know, I don't let them know that I'm still around. So I think doing this newsletter or this little blurb, you know, will help them know that I'm here still.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So there's that. I'm hungry. I'm very hungry.
I just said my daughter would text me. She was like, "What you cooking?" I girl, I ain't cooking nothing.
Your daughter did?
No, my neighbor she lives in the complex. She lives at the
Oh,
girl. I'm like, I ain't cooking nothing.
nothing.
I've been eating the word.
Yeah.
That's what
And it's
girl.
so crazy. Like I've been wanting to eat light lately, like salads and stuff like that. Like I
I mean,
haven't really wanted anything heavy.
I'm being obedient. Spirit told me to take these my bun out so I can oil my hair. I'm being ridiculous. I don't like it. I mean, I guess I don't like it, but I need to oil
Yeah.
it. Oh, of course, Albert always tells me to tell y'all hello.
Tom, hey.
Hello.
We'll have another group with him too. I got to schedule that.
Yeah, because this morning, it's like 6 o'clock in the morning, we were talking about his belief, my belief. We would really, and the different words. We were talking about the book of Deuteronomy and uh, how the prophet Muhammad was, he was talking about the lineage. So
Mhm.
that's what we're doing now, studying the lineage. I'm like, so where does he play a part in this lineage? And I
Muhammad.
said,
Muhammad.
yeah.
Yeah, because in Deuteronomy it talks about it gives you all of the people, the lineage. Because that's remember Jabez. That was Jabez came in there, and then Jabez just kind of broke out and was like, "Bless me," because they
Yeah,
wasn't.
I remember we studied that.
Yeah, and then
Right?
so because they wasn't blessed, so and I still
Everybody,
want to kind of know like where did that come from? Like you're talking about all of these people, and then he just breaks out and was like, "Hi, Jesus, need you to bless me, enlarge my territory," and then he
yeah,
just goes back into the cut like nothing ever happened, and then they just go back into that. I'm like, well, where did that come from? Like,
yeah.
why did you throw that in there?
Ain't that amazing?
Yeah, I need to. I'm still questioning like why did that happen? Yes, I
I didn't even have time.
Girl, this weather is terrible here. It's 54 degrees.
Good to you.
So that was good. That was a good word. Trying to think. Like I said, as far as with the cookbook, that was a confirmation because I was just talking about. I don't know if you ever watched like Food Network, but Rachel Ray. I used to love Rachel Ray, and when the kids were little, she used to have a 30-minute meal.
Yeah, I love
Uh,
that. Oh gosh, I used to love that.
I mean, a lot of meals I made for my kids, I got from that segment. I loved Rachel Ray. And so my prayer to God was, what can I do in present? Now that, Yaya Yummy has a place, but now what is it that I need to do now in the present? What's the next step?
Mhm.
That's where I am. And I thought about Rachel Ray, the 30-minute meals. How can because people right now don't have time to cook,
Mhm.
moms who have children, it's just a lot. Food
Yeah.
is super expensive. My main thing is the cost of food is astronomical. I feel
Mhm.
like everybody should get food stamps at this point in time.
Girl, and they cut nose.
I'm very good at food shopping. Always thinking of what I can take and make meals. But I'm a chef. Think about the person who you get overwhelmed. You don't know what to buy. And
Mhm.
then you need to fix that food. So the next time you get your food, this is like 911.
Mhm.
It really, really is. That you can't, you have to be creative. You
Yeah,
know, stews. I mean, when using that crock pot, putting stuff in the freezer,
absolutely.
soup in the summer. So we have to really get creative. Rice, pastas, I know people are like, oh, I don't want to eat carbs, honey. If you're feeding a family of 5 or 6, that rice pasta, that needs to
Yeah.
come into play.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of spaghetti nights. That's how I feel. Spaghettis, tacos,
Yeah, all
for
of the simple things, chicken, you know. My daughter bought some chicken wings and she had bought like so in our store they have like already the onions, mushrooms, peppers, rosemary and stuff already kind of like in these little packets that you can buy. It's like pre-made. So it's like mushroom, it was like steak stuff, you know, or they'll have like mushrooms, green peppers, and like the stir fry. So they have all these things that they're already prepackaged. And yesterday I looked at that and I was like, man, that would go good with like some smothered chicken. Put that chicken in the oven and add that on there. Put them mushrooms in there with some gravy.
mm,
I was like, "Ooh, that'd be so good." And then you can just top that off with so I'm kind of like you. Like I'll see an outfit, so crazy. Like I'll see an outfit, I'll put an outfit together, I'll put like a meal. Like I'll think about a meal and be like, "Oh, I can add, some chicken to that pasta that I was talking about. I can add some mushrooms to it and make it, something when I'm doing a fast or so like I saw that yesterday. I was like, "Man, I'm gonna have to go and buy some more and buy some chicken and just, let that chicken just sit in the oven or in the crock pot and then just add that and make some gravy and put that over some rice. Ooh, that'd be so good. Mm, I just,
that's what you have to think about is like, what can we do in order to keep, that food cost? Like I went to the store this week and I was just, and so I had to ask God for forgiveness because I guess I was complaining. I guess I was just like, God, this food is way too expensive because I'm thinking about people who don't have the means.
mhm.
And I'm like, now I'm good at food shopping, and I can shop according to a meal. I can use it for this. I can have one thing. Rice can do about 10 things for me. Because you
Yeah.
can make You know, you can make like dirty rice and that's a meal. Dirty rice is a meal.
Yeah.
All you do is add a vegetable to it, you know, on the side. But yeah, so when Spirit was dealing with the cookbook, I'm like, yeah, you know,
Adding that
what
scripture to it.
wasn't.
Huh?
So I said, what, you know, what is the purpose for the present? The PPs. Didn't we do the PPs at one time? Purpose.
We haven't done it yet.
Oh,
That
we
was the
have.
week nobody showed up.
You just. Oh.
No one came. So I was like, I'm not gonna.
Well, Spirit just had me say it again, so you might as well just put it on your calendar because I said the PPs, and I remember hearing the
It was the
PPs.
pit, prison, palace, purpose. I started it. And that was a week, the 7th, May 7th. No one came.
So sorry, my love.
It's all right.
Thank God that you're healing.
Maybe I need to and they probably didn't come because I hadn't done it. Like I was messing around. I wasn't, it wasn't fully,
Well, that's going to be done at one of your conferences, so
yeah, I didn't get to it.
that might be the first conference.
Who
You know, make
knows?
back to that. That's like a powerful thing
What, this message?
because that's what women. When you think about a woman, that's what we go through. The pit. I mean, my God.
Yep. Down and out in the pit. What is this? Yeah. Yep. Going through the pit, then we get into these mental prisons. We put ourselves in these mental prisons. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get out of this. I don't know if, my husband or my ex-husband or my friend or, my family, my baby, they put me in this pit. And then you get out and you end up in this beautiful place, in this palace, because now you're allowing your gifts to make room for you. Now you're using your gifts in a way that's going to get you out of this mental prison. Just like he said today, we have that gift of our tongue. He was like, he gave me a powerful, a well-taught tongue. When you think about that well-taught tongue, it gets you out of that mental prison because now you're speaking those words and you're speaking life to yourself. And then you move into the palace, into this place where you're learning how to, teach the people around you how to, save. And just because that's what Joseph did, he taught them how to, I'm going to teach you how to do these things. I'm going to use my gift, which is the gift of, being able to interpret a dream. I'm going to give you that. But then in that, he was like a mathematician. So he knew, I'm going to teach you how to save and I'm going to teach you how to do all these things. And then he taught him that. And then that was his purpose. His purpose was to make sure that his family, that he was in the right setting at the right time. Because when famine came, the very people that tried to kill him are the very people that are going to need us in the end time.
Yes. Yes,
And I
yes,
don't want to
yes.
say like the end time, but when there's a need, those very people, when they go through their own famine, when they go through their own drought, when they go through their own thing, those very people that put us in the pit are the very people that are going to have to circle back and they're going to need us. But what we have to do is we have to be able to be healed and made whole and not try to hold them hostage. Because you think about Joseph could have did so much damage to them.
That petty train.
Oh God, when you think about it, he did a little bit of petty in the interim, but it was only because there's one brother that I know, because if you mess with me, I'm pretty sure you mess with my brother. So I want to know that he's okay. Because if you could do it to me, I'd just bring my brother. When you bring it, I'm gonna keep this one. So you bring me my brother, and when I see him, then that's when he was like, okay, I'm all right. I see my brother. And the crazy thing is this is what God has just given me too. As we go through this transformation, think about it. They didn't even know who Joseph was. Joseph had grown up. All your brothers is sitting there except for one, and they don't even recognize you. because you've went through this transformation. You've went through your pit. We've gone through these tower moments. We've gone through the days that we've cried and we've mourned and we've just, oh my God, what is going on? We've gone through those things. And then we hit this mental prison where we're just thinking, I'm not good enough. And that's the reason why I'm in this situation. And then all of a sudden we meet these people that put us in this palace setting because we're using our gifts. Like, I have a gift, I can pray for you. Let me just pray for you. Pray for you. And then we get into this situation where the king is going to need us and they're going to be like, hey, or somebody powerful or mighty is going to need us. And then we get into this palace and then we start walking in our purpose. And my purpose is for the very person that put me in this prison, in this pit, you're going to have to circle back and you're going to need me. But I have to be able to be so rooted in who I am that they ain't even going to know who I am. There are people right now that that probably be like, well, oh, Tarina, talk about me like I'm a dog. But I'm the very person that you'll call and be like, can you help me with such and such?
That's like yesterday. I went to the car place because I was supposed to order a part, and the guy never called me. So I'm like, well, let me go in here. So I go in there. This guy's been working on my car for the last 5 years, right? I go in. I'm like, Josh, and he was like, hey, how can I help you? I'm like, Josh, it's me. He looks at me. I'm like, it's Miss Deliancourt? Because I can call him on the phone. I can walk in. He was like, I didn't even recognize you. And I was like, he said, did you do something different to your hair? But it's that change, like you said, it's the transformation.
Yep.
I'm like, this man has literally been working on my car for the last 5 years. And
Yeah.
he did not know he just like looked at me just like so confused. He didn't know who I was.
Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. That transformations, because when you think about Joseph, his brothers, like, you should know your sibling.
Exactly.
Your brother is standing right in front of you and you didn't even know it was Joseph. And Joseph was like, I'm not even going to give you an inkling of that. I know who you are. I'm
My
not even
God.
going to let you know that I know who you are. But I'm gonna go through what I have to go through.
Did they do nothing?
No, nothing. Set him up. He done set him up, put some gold cups in there. So then they have to come back. He was like, I'm finna, you know what? And you think about Joseph. Joseph could have did so much worse. He could have had them killed. You put me in a pit, I'm finna kill you. And I know what you've done to me, and you have no idea of all the things that I went through just to get here today. And now here you are. And boy, there's so much I could do to you. You think about a woman that has done us dirty. Think about these relationships that we had, that we could do so much damage to them. But God is like, why? Just like Joseph said, what the enemy meant for evil, God turned it around for good. And it's helping you. Not so much as helping me, but it's helping you, because in the end, it helped me, but it gave me my family back.
Yeah.
And I got to see my daddy before he died. So when you think about that, just in that moment, Joseph was like, oh my God, these are my brothers. Looky what the cat drug in. Joseph could have did so much. He could have, but he was like, no.
He had that dream. They got angry. Instead of saying, wow, it was anger, it was jealousy, all those things.
And the reason they were jealous of him is because their daddy loved his mama more than they loved his mama. He's the chosen one. He gets the robe of many colors. Why Joseph? Why? Why is it Joseph? You know why? Because his mama, your mama's sister, she had all the kids. All y'all. Okay? And the only reason why I was with her is because your granddaddy tricked me into marrying her.
Exactly.
Because technically, I should have been with Rachel, not
That was a mess from the beginning.
Yeah,
You had
Huh?
to cover it and fix. God had to cover it and fix that.
Yeah, there was a whole debacle in the beginning anyway. And the woman that
Mhm.
I loved was I had to wait, I had to work hard to get her. And when I got her, you thought, and then she couldn't have kids, so she was barren for so many years, and then finally here comes a Joseph. Oh nah. Yeah, because I love her mama, because I love his mama, I'm finna go ahead and give her. I'm finna give him whatever he wants. He's the chosen child. Oh, Joseph has a dream. I had a dream that 12 things just bowed down to me. What? It's
He
12
think
of us. He's like,
that that's anyway. I know they
he
did this with him.
yeah, they was like, mm-mm. Well, let's go
But to
ahead and put him in the pit.
take that brother and throw a brother in the pit and walk away. That's something.
And then take his robe and tear it up and put blood on it and bring it, and then bring it back to your daddy and be like, Joseph died and the animal got him, and oh, we don't know. Oh.
That's
And he
crazy.
ends up in a situation. He just ends up in this whole situation where God is helping him grow and helping him heal. But then you think about when he got into the palace, Potiphar's wife. Oh, look, here's somebody. I love him. Let me go and try to get him, try to set him up. He's like, no, I'm not even going to do that. Ended back up in the pit, in the prison again.
Because he didn't
Because,
give in.
yeah, he didn't give in to the temptation. Then he gets out and he tells them guys, hey, remember me. Now, what that means, this is what the dream means. This is what it means. But remember me. Okay. So when you go to before the king, remember. And I think it was the cupbearer. He told, no, the chef. He told him, yeah, there's a man down in the prison. His name is Joseph. He knows how to interpret these dreams. So if you need somebody, you can call Joseph. And here comes Joseph in the palace. He done got promoted. He done went from the palace to the prison to the palace, because now he knows how to interpret the thing that the king needed. These dreams. Nobody could do it. Not even his seers, nothing. You see how God will do? He'll make the people that are built for it, that went and did all that thing, that studied well for it. This is the message for me. The people that went and studied for it. So they went to school, they did it. He said, but Joseph, that was just innate. That's what was built. I put that in him. Could nobody do what a Joseph does? Can't nobody do what a Tara can do? Can't nobody do what a Tarina can do? Can't nobody do what none of these women in this group can do? Nobody can do it. I set you ablaze to do that thing.
Yes.
So that you can walk in your purpose. You're so different. Why would you think that you're the same as all the seers and all the sayers and on all these people? No, you're so different. So I set you apart, and so they won't forget you. And so when you walk into a room, they'll know, well, you know, there's a girl, her name is Tarina. She can do a reading for you, you know? And there it is. There's this lady named Tara now. She knows how to prepare a meal. She gonna give you that word in the midst of it. I got a chiropractor. His name is Dr. Hug. And I remember
HUG.
HUG. And
Wow.
his name is Joseph, Dr. Joseph Hug.
Wow.
I remember I went to him, and in the midst of him doing his work, God has given me a message as he's adjusting. This is a good message. As he's adjusting me, he's putting me back together. And as he's doing it, the chiropractor, he's giving me a word. So in the midst of the adjustment, the word is coming to keep me. I was like, Dr. Hug, you was an awesome man. Awesome man. Give you a word while he's cracking you. While he's, adjusting you, he's giving you a word. He's not just giving you a physical adjustment, but he's giving you a spiritual adjustment in the interim. So it's not so much as you giving a meal prep, you're giving a word you're giving a life prep in the word. Like you're prepping them for the thing in the word. So it's like that duality of what we do is like, that's why they say do something that you love, because you'll never get tired of it. I will never get tired of giving readings. I will never get tired of speaking. I will never get tired of giving motivation. I will never get tired of wanting to study the word and giving the word to people. I will never get tired of that, because that's what's in me. I remember there was a day I was a Jonah. I am not praying for your people. I'm not doing it. I was like, because they just gonna,
somebody else.
yeah, get somebody else to do it. But I remember doing that, and he was like, "Oh, okay. So now you finna be a Jonah? Put me in the belly of the jail. Put me right on in jail. Go ahead and go in there. And then the very thing that you didn't want to do in the world, you're gonna have to do it in the jail." Yep. And I was like, "Ooh." So our gifts and talent, they make room for. That's what they said. It makes room for us. But we have to be able to get into the recipe of life, to download the divine recipe so God can give us the recipe. Because if we don't get the recipe, we ain't going to know how to move forward. Think about Joseph. Joseph had a dream of 12 sheaths of wheat bowing down to him. He's like, that's weird. He just said it, moved on with it. And then years later, those 12 people or those 12 sheaths had to bow to him. And he told him, and and see me being petty. Remember when I had that dream, y'all? And I told you that them 12 finna bow to me? That's how petty. That's why God's like, no. But you think about those moments when people have really put us down. They had talk about us, and they still doing it to this day. They talk about us. They say things about us. They think that we're not, well equipped in a thing. But it's like, I told God, I said, God, there's some mistakes in this job that I've made. And, but he's like, okay, that's not your fault. That has nothing to do with you. Did I put you in the position? Yeah. He was like, but there was a piece that was missing. And I was like, well, I should have picked up on that. I probably should have, but at the end, it's like, God, I thank you for this job. I thank you that you've equipped me, mind, body, and soul to do this job. I thank you for even having favor to be able to be even shifted from one position to the next. I thank you that you're doing everything exceedingly abundantly above what I could ask or think. I thank you that all the mistakes that are happening are teaching me how to be better in this job so that when I get into the coaching, God, I know exactly what to do. I thank you that you've correlated this position and this job so that when I get out here and I start coaching, that I can ask the quantified questions of these ladies in this world, through 1180. So it's like, I'm just learning. I'm learning how to use the dialect, learning how to use the conversation, learning what we need. We need more of investors out there. We need private investors that's going to invest and give money to these people when it comes down to food and the basic needs. We got people that need
resources.
Yeah. I mean, we have the resources, but even the resources aren't enough. I got a girl right now that was tripping with me because I was like, listen, you have to, in this society right now, just here in Colorado, you need to be making at least $4,500 just to survive. Just to be able to pay all of your bills and then have a little bit of leftover. So that means get into a side hustle.
It's so funny because last week I got a letter from social service. Now it is mandatory that you have to work 20 hours to get food stamps.
Mm-hmm.
Who knew?
They'll give you a certain grace period, but then you have to because it's like it's the government is really making it to where you won't. There's a lot of this funding is going away, just like we're talking about it now. A lot of the resources that they gave in COVID, is dwindling. And these girls out here, that's why I posted a TikTok. If you don't know your numbers and how much you spend a month, that says a lot. How much is your rent? I asked the girl, I said, well, how much is your rent? She was like, I think it's, I said, no.
The numbers.
No. Then she was like, well, they towed my car and I had to pay like $500. She gives me a receipt. The receipt said $300. So where'd the extra $2 come from?
You know where that comes from? From having it up here and not writing it down. Because I used to be so guilty of that. I used to do everything in my brain. Everything was in my mind. I never wrote, well, now I do. Being a part of this platform, now I do write down everything.
Yeah.
But everything was up here.
Month to month, monthly. I know my numbers. I know exactly what I spend monthly.
But in her situation, she was not knowing her numbers. She didn't have an actual receipt to show 500. She asked for more than what she actually was able to show you.
No, so when she came to me, because we have to ask the question, how did you get in this situation? What made you get behind on your rent? And she told me that the complex had towed her car twice. And she said, in both times I had to pay, that was my rent money. So she said it was $500. So I said, well, how much is your rent? And she said, I think it's, and I said, and I was like, you think? And she said, well, it varies. Rent shouldn't vary. Rent should be just, this is the amount that you pay. Well,
Every
at this
month.
complex, they add on like little fees and stuff like that, like trash and things like that. But that should be a set number. Dividing it by the number of people that you have in the apartment complex, that number should be $12 for this, whatever. So I get her rent. Now she tells me it's 1,900. So I get the ledger. It says 17 something. And I just
That
was
means she
like,
probably was late.
so then, well, she is. Then I said, okay, so how much was it to get your car out of the pound? What she told me was it was $500 both times. So that was my rent money because they towed my car at the end of the month. But I pay for the space, but they towed my car out of the space. So I'm like, well, they can't do that. So anyway, she brings me the receipt from when they towed her car. You don't have the second receipt. You only have the one. So I said, when I look at the receipt, I'm like, this is $314. So where's the other 200 that you told me that you had to pay to get your car out of the impound? Like, make it math. So when I was talking to her, I was like, none of this is making sense to me.
What she say?
She was like, well, what part? I said, all of it. None of this is making sense to me. Like, the math is not mathing and I'm not understanding. And then you're telling me that you owe the complex $6,000, but when I get the writ, the judgment, it's only like 2,000. So where's the other? Where it doesn't, none of it's making sense. So that's why I said monthly. I write my bills down. Like, this is what I do, and I take that and I divide it in half. So my payments are $362 out of every paycheck. And my landlord knows that. This is because this is how I get paid. This is how it's going to have to be done. And then like my water, my energy bill, my Xfinity, my insurance, my car payment, all of that is separated. So that's how I do that. So on average, monthly, I pay almost $2,000, $2,500, depending on, but I know my numbers. I know exactly what I need to pay. So it's like, how you don't know your numbers? These millennials, I was
That's
like,
what I'm trying. Sean, he was like, I only got $75. I'm thinking to myself,
how?
I don't work this out. Now you should have more money than that. But guess what's at the door yesterday?
A
Sheen.
package.
Yeah. So that's your issue, bud. That has nothing to do with the household. Don't ask me. I'm buying the food. But I told him starting next month, June. Anything extra you want, you on your own, bud. I'll get all the bait. But
it's teaching them how to be responsible. And that's what I said on that TikTok. I was like, the world is eating y'all up. I said, now I know y'all act like y'all tough, but listen, this world is eating y'all up because you don't know your numbers. You don't know how much your car insurance is. Do you know how much your cell phone bill is? I'm pretty sure you know that because you got to keep that bad boy on to be on social media doing half the stupid stuff you're doing. Do you know how much it is to get gas? How much is it to fill up your tank? So that way when your check comes, I got to put this aside for gas. Like, how much is your stuff? You got all these budgeting gurus out here. That's how I learned how to do what I was doing, watching this chick on TikTok. And it was like, but it wasn't like I didn't know, like my mom had taught me, but it was like just to, like you don't have to pay it all in one setting. Like, ma'am, you get 2 paychecks. Divide that bad boy in half. This paycheck, I'm gonna pay this half by the end of the month. And usually a lot of the things that we have are close to the end of the month anyway.
like
So
I decided to pay my
So
car
you
insurance
take your
at the beginning of-
go ahead, Miss Tangela.
I'm sorry, Tangela.
so you take your rent and you pay each check, you give him 362. Then the next time you get paid, you give him another 362.
Yep.
Is that how you send it in?
And he accepts it just
Okay.
that way because guess why? He's still getting something. Now, if he was if I don't have that conversation with him, they usually renting like facilities, they don't take partial payments. But my landlord, because that's how we worked it out, and that's what I told him. Because of how I get paid, this is what you'll get. You'll get your 362, and if he don't get it, he'll call me. But I'm always on top of that. So he don't really necessarily have to call me for anything. And then like with my water, I go and I have all the apps. So I pay my bills online. So I have like a little and I'll show you guys so you guys can see it. Share my screen so you can see what I'm talking about. Go into, so I have, this is my business part. So I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna pull that out and I'm gonna close this out. Okay.
Let me get
So
that to spell.
in my thing, I have like my app, and so all of my stuff is here. So paying in full, that's what I'm doing. I'm paying in full. I'm paying everything in full. I have to speak it, right? So all of my bills are here. Everything is here once it loads. Hopefully it'll load. Okay. So these are my cards, my credit cards and stuff like that. So then I have, oh, that's my tax lady. So here, oh, NACA, I'm looking for a house. Fidelity, that's my IRA. So I can put money into my IRA, which I need to do that with my job. So I put money in my IRA, so I'll have funding to set aside for when I get my house. And so here's the water department. So I'm already set. So I'm gonna go in. Y'all gonna see how much my water bill is, okay? But this is what I do. The beginning of the month, I will sit down and I see this number 165.67. I divide that in half. Now see when it says it's due on the 5th. But I can take a partial payment. So that 165 divided by 2 is like $86, 80 something dollars. Where is my calculator? And I got my calculator. So I'll sit and I'll write down my bills, which I need to do, but I'll write it down and then I'll do 165.67 divided by 2. That's going to be $82.83 is what I'm going to, when I get this, I set it aside. So I write this full number down and then I divide by 2 and I'll say $83. So then on my next paycheck, I'll be able to pay the other 83. Okay, that's my water. Then I have my Excel bill. And what I used to do with Excel is I used to pay just $150, but my bill has kind of gone down. So Excel, and see how everything is there. So I have all of my links here. Everything that I pay monthly is here. So this is my Excel bill. Log in. All right. So our energy bill here is kind of weird. It's the way I don't know why they do it the way they do it. But why is it taking so long? Oh, there it is. Okay. So as you can see, this is my Excel bill. So that 206.53, and I'm going to divide that by 2, which is going to be $103.26. Plus, I have $1.50 processing fee when I pay with my credit card. So I'm going to add 103.26 plus 150. So that's going to bring me to like 103 plus $1.50. So I'm going to set aside 104.76, dividing that by 2. Okay. So see when it's due? But my first paycheck is at the beginning of the month. So I'm going to pay 104.76. By the time the end of the month comes, I'm paying this full in full. So this whole amount will be paid in full on my next paycheck. Okay. Then I go to my Xfinity, which is high as God knows what. But anyway, so I'm going to sign in to here. And all this I pay online. So all of this I pay online, and then it'll give you a receipt, and then I just save it as a PDF, and I have a folder in on my computer that I save all of my stuff in, and it'll like it listed out what I pay. So my Xfinity bill, which is where my account, right? Billing. Okay, it's probably high as God knows what. It's probably not high. Oh my goodness gracious. All these security tactics. All right. So this is my internet. This is pretty much my internet.
The one that keep going out. And then they
Oh
want to charge.
God, I had to get a new modem, but yeah. So
I
this
wish I had.
is this
Yeah.
is due by the 21st. And the only reason why it's that much is because there were some things that I didn't pay, and I don't know why I didn't pay it, but I paid it in half. So divide that by 2. That's $198.73 is what I'm going to pay my first paycheck, and then by the end of the month, by the 21st, this will be paid off because my next paycheck will come before the 21st.
I think for me too, you know, in the past being a single mom, you know, like I said, everything I did in my mind. So now it was always in the back of my mind, I have to hold on to this. So that whole, you know, like I would split, you know, paycheck here, pay, you know, split it here, split it there, but I would always not even split it evenly. Instead of 50% split, you're going to get a 40% split.
Yeah.
Because in the back of my mind, I always had that what if. So
Yeah.
now this is what it is. I've been doing the 50, 30, 20.
Yeah. So this is my insurance, my car insurance. So that 156.20 is $87.10. So I split that in half. But the thing about it is the full amount is that 312. So what I was going to do this month was I was going to take that 312 40, divide that by 2, 156.20. So if I divide that by 2, because if I divide that by 2, or I can just pay that off. So if I pay 156.20 my first paycheck and then the 156.20 on the next one, I'll have my insurance covered until the end of the term. So I'm gonna log out of here. And then I have my phone bill. So let's see. Everything is online. I don't go, I mean, I don't know. It's just me. I just like to do everything online because it's simpler for me. So then we log in. And what I did last month is I paid a portion of this month's bill last month. So what I owe is like 40 something dollars, I believe. Yeah, 45.80. So that's due on the 7th. And I'll get paid before then. So it's just taking things and I just divide that in half. Like even like if it's like a $20 bill, like my XM radio for my car is like 20 some dollars. So I add that in, and when I look at the due date, I'll say, okay, well, if it's due at the end of the month, I'm not going to add on any more to this first paycheck. I'm just going to pay, you know, and then I can get to the ending part, you know, like the $20 and things like that. I can get to that at the end of the month. So I pay all like the little like Sirius XM radio, my I'm gonna stop sharing my Spotify, you know, because I have to have Spotify when I travel. So my Spotify is like $10 and some change. So I know all of my numbers, everything that I pay monthly, little things like my Spotify, my Amazon Prime is like $9 and some change. And all of these little things that I have. So I keep track of all of that. So I know my first paycheck is really the bulk of everything, my rent, my water, public service, the internet, you know, so I can keep that going. Then the next paycheck, I'll just pay the difference of everything else. And then I just tax on like the Spotify and things like that. And even out of my business funding. So when I get paid into my business, that goes automatically into my business account. And then I'll pay like fees for like my printer fees come out of my business account. Let's see, like what else comes out of the business account? So I pay my fee, like so it's my printer fees. Sometimes my cell phone comes out of my business account. So it's like little things like that, like I'll pay out of the business account. So when I get that, I just take that money and I just add it because, you know, I still have those clients that I deal with. So when they pay me through Cash App, I just take that money and I immediately take it and put it into my business account. And so that money pays for, like, sometimes it pays for the phone bill, sometimes it pays for like my cell phone. It'll pay for like my printing fees, which I need to get another printer because I hate this printer. So it pays for like my tarot cards. It pays for just little things like I need to do with business. So that's how I run that. It took me a minute to get there, but now you kind of get the gist of, if my rent is this much and I get paid twice a month, and think about people who get paid weekly, you'll be more on top of the game if you get paid weekly, because you can take that one payment and divide that by 4. So every month, and then you could be a month ahead. You know, if you pay your rent out of one paycheck, and then you kind of start budgeting to see how much you make, you'll be a month ahead. There's a girl on TikTok. Her name is I can't remember her name, Bad and Bougie or something like that. Not Bad and Bougie. I can't remember her name, but she does that. So like her bills are a month ahead. So what she does is when she gets her paychecks, she sets aside that money and she puts it into an account, and then they automatically go in and take all that money out of her account. So she's like, I don't do anything. It's kind of like starting fresh. Like you get a fresh bank account and then you just divide up all that money that I just had. So like if I was to divide, like last month I had, let's see, $838.60. I would have just taken all that money and I would have just put it into, because she doesn't have her checks deposited. She doesn't do direct deposit. She gets her check and she cashes her check and she divvies out the funds and then she puts it into her bank account, which I was like, could I trust myself? No. So I'd rather do it the direct deposit way. So I direct deposit, and then when I sit down and average out all my bills, then I just take that money from my check. So I just took $838.60 and then I just put it into my credit account, and then I just started paying my bills immediately. So I don't let the money sit. I just take it and I transfer it to my credit, and then I just start paying those things off. And then I get my my receipts. Oh, I didn't show you all my receipts. So I take my receipts and I'll show you my receipts. So log out of that. So I have a file folder. Open the file. Oh, there it is. Uh-oh. So I have a file that says online bill payments. So all of my bill payments are here. So I have, see, my cell phone is there, which I need to kind of make the folders. So my Excel bill is there. So once you make the payment, it'll bring up this bill. And so then it shows me that I made a payment and I have proof that I did it. So that is not it. Oh, that was 2021. Look how much my bill was in 2021. Ooh, but that bill was high. My God. Anyway, so that's how I do it. So cell phone bill comes here. And so I just paid that one. So it'll give you a little, tell you to print your receipt. So I just put print and then I save it. So it just gives you your confirmation number to tell you, yes, I did that. So I just click that print receipt and then I just save it as a PDF. But I need to get in here and organize all of these. But those are all my bills. See that's my Excel bill. It's my water bill. And see my water bill, I kind of named it different. And then there's my Xfinity. So once I, oh, stop sharing. Okay. So once I get the receipt, then I just kind of go in and I put it in that folder, but I need to kind of get my folders together, but I keep my receipts. So then like next month, like even, last month I had, what was May, $995.72. But I had to budget in groceries because I don't get food stamps anymore. So I had to budget in groceries. So I have to save $250 from each paycheck so that my second paycheck, I'll be able to go to the grocery store and go grocery shopping. So on average, I'm spending maybe $1,000 some odd dollars, maybe $2,000 a month on just my bills. So I know exactly what I spend.
Okay. I'm working on it. I got my budget book, so I'm working on it.
Yeah,
I
mine's
get,
is just
o-
little.
I get overwhelmed with the whole spreadsheets. Remember I told you I'm not that good with Excel, so I write everything down.
Yeah, I used to have I used to have a spreadsheet. Um, and then I used to have it where it would like transfer that, like it would tell me like the next balance due. But I like to see it this way, so I write everything down and then I just, average it out, and then I get to see it and I check when I paid it and check, but it keeps me in that balance. So that's why I say knowing your numbers, when you know your numbers. So when I'm done with my paycheck, usually I'll have at least $400 left over
It's good. It's
when I'm
very good.
finished. And then, I have that little leeway to do whatever. And then sometimes I just take, I try to take 200 or 150 and put it into my Roth IRA. And then just have that money in savings and just, and I have that wiggle room. I know how much it's going to take me to get gas in my car. So that's kind of like my gas money and, all that other funding. But I know how much I pay. Even when I didn't have a car, I was still budgeting in catching the Uber and things like that. So I knew averaging out monthly, I was paying, let's see, I was paying $60 a week. So I was almost paying like $200 a month just to get me back and forth to work when I was catching the Uber.
But thank God for the vehicle.
Hale.
Yes.
And even God told me this when all this stuff happened. He was like, you need to start setting aside money for these little emergency funds, like an emergency fund. He was like, because see, your refrigerator went out. Now you can't get the washer fixed because, and so it was like, God, I hear you. He was like, you can't buy a house and then you don't have an emergency fund. You have no funding. If anything was to break down, he was like, where's the funding for that? And I was like, okay, but it was a lesson. He's like, there's a lesson in everything that we do. So I was like, all right, God, I will start setting aside that money and, putting it in my Roth IRA and, or even just a different account that I have that I can't go into.
So a Roth IRA, you started that yourself and you put your own money in it.
So when I was working at MCI years ago, I had a Roth IRA account. Well, I had a 401k. So if you have 401ks, you can, when you leave a job, that money is just sitting there. And so you can roll it over into an IRA account. So it's just your personal account. So you can add money to that account whenever you want to. You can take out of it, but you'll be taxed on it if you dip into it and take it out. So they told me about another account that I can get into. But yeah, so the Roth IRA is my personal account that I rolled my money from when I was working at MCI, and I just rolled it into this funding. But that was years ago. And then I had another job where I was doing 401k. And so I just took that money and just rolled it over into my Roth IRA account. So you can add money, you can take money. So it really helps you out. Uh-oh, I lost her.
I was say I was going to ask her, does she have a 401k?
Yeah, because she can take that money and roll a portion of that into a Roth IRA account at her job.
I take that medicine. All right, well, look like it's just me and you, Cupcake. You ready to get off? You gotta go to the food store. Oh, the girls went
No,
to the food store. You cooking today? No. That's how my granddaughter be like, no.
no,
No.
no, I'm not cooking. I'm not doing nothing.
Me either,
I'm
girl.
gonna finish doing this work on my business stuff. And my client really helped me out yesterday with some ideas.
Awesome.
So I was like, I'm gonna do that tomorrow. Well, I'm gonna do that today. Finish this part where it says build your brand. I think I got 2 more to go. Or is it
I
9
think
paintings?
since it's just, I'm gonna mention this to you, so maybe you can tell me how I should move in this. So, with the whole setup of the house, remember I said I'm just doing my room, but I kind of feel like, with the whole kitchen thing, I don't want to, Jason was like, I don't want you to have that, so I had to put my chef card up. Remember that chef card I had? I put that up, I said I wasn't going to argue about it because, you know, he can
This
do the
is
kitchen.
his.
But I'm thinking, you don't even cook. The kitchen is my domain. I don't care where I'm at. So you can't expect me to cook and do all these fabulous meals, but you don't give me that space because I said I need a table. I can't do this. I need a table.
Yeah.
You know, so what do I do? You know, it's so funny because he's like, well, I want to do a coffee bar. You don't even drink coffee. I'm the coffee drinker. So I don't know if he wants to do it for me. He's like, Ma, because he brought me a couple of things for my coffee corner, which I
Hmm.
think that's what it is. Um, and I know that's what it is. He bought me this cute little coffee clock.
Aw.
Yeah, for Mother's Day. So I think what it is he wants me to have a certain thing, but he wants to do the decorating. So I'm like, well, can I just have a table? So today I'm going to work on getting all my yaya yummy stuff somewhat situated.
Yeah.
Because that's his thing. He doesn't want stuff all over the place. And I mean, I have a whole storage closet. I don't know where to start. I got so much stuff. I mean,
Oh no. Um, I don't hear anything right now.
I'll just clean it up.
Yeah, and bring it is it there a thing that you can bring it out and put it back to a certain, so it won't be overwhelming for him.
um, I probably can get a rolling cart.
Yeah.
My
And
chef cart, I can
yeah,
push it.
so it's not something that overwhelms him. But when I need to bring it out, I can bring it out. All my stuff will be there, and then I can put it back where it's not. Oh, because I think that's his thing. It's just overwhelming. I think
His
Jake
anxiety.
he has a lot of OCD. Like it just brings out this part of him that's just like he's not in control, and because he's not in control, it's just like it overwhelms him. So if you can
Hmm.
find a spot where you can put things like on just this is mine and I'll bring it out and then I can put it back where it doesn't disturb you and it's not conflicting with his anxiety, or that OCD part of him,
Hmm.
you know, but just tell him, I'm going to get a cart, but I do need this and I want to be able to have it to where I can bring it out and I'll bring it out and then I can put it away so it's not anything that overwhelms you. Because
Exactly.
there's enough space for that to do it, right?
I even have some of my stuff upstairs in my closet. That's how big my closet is.
Oh, yeah,
It's in those big, those totes with the top.
yeah.
The guys took it upstairs. They didn't know it was my cake pans, but that's
Oh,
okay. I just left them up there, put them in a corner
yeah, yeah.
because
So
I don't
it's
want
just,
to. Like my cake pans, I could take upstairs.
yeah, yeah. So it's not anything that will overload him and make him feel like it's not his space,
Hmm.
you know? So I think, yeah, just having something where you can pull it out and then you can put it back and you can hide it. Yeah. Even if you have the cart, you can still stack those stackables on top of the cart, you know,
Hmm.
where it doesn't overwhelm him because I think that's his issue is like he doesn't want to be overwhelmed in that thing, you know. So if you
Exactly.
have the table, I know that there's those islands where you can take it down or make one. Make a cart and have an island where you can put the thing on top of it,
Okay.
like a table on top of it. Like what I just saw was like two rolling carts and a way that you can lock that wood table on top of that wood cart and you'll still have everything that you need in the cart. Like a little drawer, those carts that have the drawers on it?
Yeah.
So you'll still have the top where you can lock the top down and then you can pull your stuff out of those drawers. But then when it's all necessary to put away, you can just store it in a nice place, take the top off, slam it in a closet and have all your stuff in there.
Like a rolling island.
Yeah. But you can
Okay.
take the top off instead of the island just like it's being there. But even
Okay.
if you have the rolling island, you can probably put it at the end of the counter, but it's something that he won't feel like now she's dominating.
Yeah. Because I think that's what the issue is. And he has his things that just bug me. And So those are things that I just have to pray over.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely, it's
Yep.
okay. All right. Well,
Right. I'm gonna go get something to eat because I'm hungry.
yeah, I'm finishing making my little salad.
All right.
I
I'll
love you
talk to
much.
you. Love you
All right.
too. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.